I'm going to vary lines, and what varied means or variation means is differences, okay? I have a varied color palette here, probably too many colors if you're painting. You should limit your color palette, but that's varied, okay? I have a varied amount of brushes here. I have different brushes, fat, thin, skinny, okay, all kinds, and a pencil. So varied means differences. So I'm going to start just to warm up with straight diagonal lines. Okay. Maybe vary it by making some thick ones, pushing on the brush. Remember, when you push harder on the brush, it uses up more paint, but it also makes a fatter line. Now I've varied the line a little bit, right? And short lines, just some marks, okay? They can crisscross. This is not a painting, it's just a warm-up exercise. I am pulling it towards me now, okay? Pulling the paintbrush towards me. When I'm trying to make a straight line, did you notice I'm using the side of the brush to make the line? I'm not trying to make a straight line like this, okay? And you can, but see, this gets kind of raggedy down there, unless you want a raggedy line. I'm making the straight line, let the edge of the brush here form, see how nice and clean that is? Okay. Same thing when I'm coming up and down. The brush is doing the work. Let the brush have an integrity or a beauty to it, okay, as you work. Now, remember the dry brush? So what I'm going to do is get paint on here and kind of dab it with my cloth. And here's dry brush. That means it got dry, right? So let's make some dry brush marks. What's kind of cool about when you do this is see where you have the transparency. Watercolor, when you're using watercolor, it should be transparent. You should be able to see through it. I'm not digging in here so that it becomes like temper paint. Even when I have a lot of paint on there, I still see paper through there. Some dry brush marks, long and short. If I take my brush and scubble it a little bit like this, and there's still a little paint on here, you can make some really cool crosshatch things that could easily become grass in the wind. Pink grass in the wind. Okay, so now I'm just varying my marks. Now another mark that a lot of people don't give integrity to is just the push of the brush. Now watch this. Just the tip. I can do all kinds of things with just the tip of the brush. Just like you're printing almost. Now, okay. Depending on how much, see, that's different than this. And if I round my brush, I can make some dots. If I turn it while I'm pressing, I can make some dots. So I have short marks, I have fat stubby marks, I have the print of the brush. Now, within one line, see how this was varied? I can also vary it. So watch, when I just hardly touch it, and then I push, and then, and lift it up, that's a leaf. I just made a leaf. So watch me do it again. I'm going to hardly touch it and push and let up and pull away. Hardly touch it. We'll do more of this when we do some Chinese brush painting. Practice these kind of marks. Instead of outlining your leaf and painting it in, let the brush do the work. It has a, I don't know, to me it has more of a beauty to it than outlining it, which is cumbersome anyhow, and then painting it in. And if you outline it and start doing a whole bunch of them, which nothing wrong with doing a contour line sometimes, but I want you to learn more about this. Now, if I let that sit for a minute and then I go back and try to paint it, I'm never really going to be able to get rid of those lines. See the outline? It doesn't go away. So doing a leaf like that is much more fresh than coloring it in. Okay, so we're not, one thing I want you to remember is, and you'll hear me say this a lot, we're not working, it's not a coloring book, we're not coloring things in. So we did the straight lines, and then I want you to do a variety of lines.